Jai Hind, this is Apoorv Mishra, All India rank 23rd in the UPSC CAPF AC exams 2019. So in this video, we'll be dealing about newspapers, what is their importance and how to deal with them. So newspapers are very important source for preparation of any UPSC exam, especially for CAPFs. Why? Because in newspapers, you get the facts, what is happening around the world, what are the future possibilities, what were the past associated with any particular topic, and you get to have them directly at your home. You get the facts served to you, and then you have to grasp from there and then try to put it in your notes in a consolidated form. So this way you can enrich your notes with with whatever is happening around the world in the current realities. Your notes will be updated with respect to that, rather than just being static. So the static preparation, if that is done, that can be very much enriching if you can keep on jotting down the important facts which are present in the daily newspapers. Now, the process of selection is itself judging your abilities to be how you will be as an officer. So once you are in the field as an officer, try to think like that, from that perspective, that you won't get time to open your books like Lakshmikant or GC Leong when you are sitting in any of the post as an assistant commandant. So there, the only source of updating your information is the daily newspapers. So if you have the ability to have a working relationship with your newspaper, that is, if you are free with the newspaper, have a habit of it, it will be enriching even in the future course of your postings also. So prepare yourself in that way that you are used to with the newspaper. Now, how to use the newspapers and how to finish it as early as possible. So you can take any of the newspapers which are sound on their factual research. For usually the civil services as well as the CAPF people, they usually prefer the Hindu or the Indian Express. You can choose either of them. Now, how to read it in the least time possible. See, when you are beginning with the newspapers, it may go more than 1.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours or 4 hours also. I've heard these also happen, that first time when you read it, you're unable to finish it within 2 hours, 3 hours, and it may take longer than that. And you might eventually go away from the habit of reading newspaper, instead trying to find shelter in monthly magazines. But there is an inherent advantage in the newspapers. For example, 2019 May, I remember in the civil services exam, there was one question on Proposis juliflora. This question, this was an invasive species, and this was missed by almost all the monthly magazines, but it was thoroughly covered by the Hindu. Almost every second month, it had one news with respect to Proposis juliflora, the invasive species. Even in the month of March, it was mentioned in the Hindu, and it was asked in the month of June. So you can understand the gravity of missing the facts from the newspaper. If you miss it, you not only have the chance, you not only miss the chance of getting to short marks. Along with that, there are chances that you might score negative, and it may lead to minus 2.66 marks of your total tally. So try to ensure that you get to be updated with the facts, and prefer it to take directly raw from the newspaper rather than the modified form through the current affairs magazine. So now, how to finish it in as less time as possible. First thing first, you should know that which are the pages and the topics which are important. Like the first page is very necessary. You should know the overall idea about what is happening in the country. You have to chalk off the news which are related to politics, whereas grasp all the important news which are necessary for your preparation. Now, how do you get that? For that, you have to take a printout of your syllabus, stick it in your room or on your study table, or have a proper idea about your syllabus. Whatever is remotely related to your syllabus is important for you in the newspaper. Whatever is not related to your syllabus, like political news, like Bollywood news, like cricket news, these are not very important for your paper, so you can skip those. So focus on what is there in the syllabus, and focus on all the news which are going to affect you in your paper and the preparation. So first page is very necessary of any paper. Then you have the editorial, the 2 pages of editorial in the Hindu. So those 2 pages are very necessary. Try to read the headlines, and if the headlines are showing some semblance with any of the topics mentioned in the syllabus, go ahead and read them. You may not find it useful even after reading them, but there might be chances that it might be having some fact which can be utilized in your answers, essays, or anywhere where in reports, for example, and you can use it in paper 1 also. So these things can give more dimension to your preparation. So having read about articles for both pro side as well as against side for any act, for any particular news, that can help you in your preparation as well as the formation of an officer-like mindset. Now 3 pages are done. The first page, the 2 editorials. Now the last page which you have to do compulsorily is the economy or the business page. In Hindu, there is a business page which comes, which is filled with news related to economy as well as business. See, when you see the syllabus, the Indian economy is in the syllabus, but not business. So you need not worry about DHFL shares going this way or that way, or Reliance share price increasing or decreasing. Those are none of your concerns. What concerns you is if RBI is increasing the repo rate or decreasing the repo rate, if the monetary policy committee is doing something, if the finance minister is saying something. So these all things have huge impact on what is happening in the Indian economy. So you have to focus from that perspective, and whatever is related to Indian economy, whatever can affect the Indian economy, you have to focus on that, leaving out, chalking out all those parts which are related to business or any other details which are not related to Indian economy. So these 4 pages are compulsory. Initially, what you can do is, initially when it takes a lot of time, you do one thing, you start with reading just the headlines, the first page, the 2 editorials, and the economy. 4 pages, just go through top to bottom, scan all the headlines. Whichever headlines you find interest in, try to read those articles. Reading headlines will hardly take less than half an hour, even if you are a beginner. So just read the headlines, just mark which of them are important, and whenever you feel like, try to read them. Okay? Once you have read the important articles which as per you are there, you can do one thing, you can check it online. There are some channels on YouTube, as well as there are some websites which give you a detailed summary of a newspaper. So which all topics are important, which are not. So like Drishti IS is there, like Rao's IS channel is there. So they give you a gist of the newspaper. Now what you have to do is, once you have read the articles relevant as per you, you can go online and check what are the articles they are mentioning. If there are any articles which you have missed to read and which they have mentioned, try to cover them through the newspaper. First source should be this. Now, initially, once you have read the newspaper and then also you feel that no, there are more things which you have to know, then you can watch one of their videos with respect to those newspaper gist, and you can get more idea about, or the depth about those topics. For example, if there is any article mentioning ISRO's any satellite, you have to understand the weight, the orbit, and the purpose of that mission. So these things are important. If any defense exercise is given, which countries are involved, from how long it is being going on, is it the first edition, is it the where was the last edition held, where is this edition going to be held, the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, which are the areas, which are the affected countries, what is the possible outcome of this exercise. So these all things you have to have a fair bit of idea. If you can get it through the newspaper, you're done and dusted, your work is done there itself. But if you're unable to get it from the newspaper, you can go online, search about that. For example, Maitri is there. Maitri is a base of India in Antarctica, near Antarctica. So you can Google it and get a fair bit of idea. Read 1 or 2 para about it, or you read important details, you'll get an idea about it. If you don't have that much time, or if you don't have that much zeal to search on your own, you can go on any of the channels which I've mentioned and get a news summary of any channel which you are comfortable with. Get their news summary for that particular day, where they'll be providing the detailed news summary, newspaper summary. So you can get that and you can read those things and jot it down in your notes if you find any new information. Okay, once you get used to this, you'll find that slowly and slowly you will get used to of the newspaper. First week, just scan all the headlines. Second week onwards, try to read some articles which you find appealing. May not be very much relevant, but you still find it appealing. So you will be coming back to the newspaper. Any habit takes around 21 days to develop. So try it for 3 days. First 3 days, be gentle on how you are reading the newspaper. Try to read the headlines. Make sure that you read the headlines within 30 minutes and then scan the important articles which according to you are important. Read at least 2 or 3 of them for the first 3 weeks. From the 4th week onwards, you will be getting a little bit of touch of how to read newspaper, and you'll be finding a little bit of friendliness with the newspaper rather than scaring away from it and preferring the current affair magazine. So now once you become friendly with the newspaper, try to chalk out the important articles and then match with the YouTube channels or any online website which is providing the newspaper summary. So once you match the channels, once you match the topics which are mentioned in as per you and as per them, once you match them, slowly and slowly you will start finding convergence in that also, and you will be able to get the newspaper articles on your own, which are important and which are not. All right, apart from these 4 pages which I've mentioned, the first page, the editorials as well as the economy, apart from these 4, you can have a quick rush through from the 4th week onward to the whole newspaper, where you find any important news hidden in any of the other pages. Like in the international relation pages, mostly the news which are there in Hindu, which are not concerning India. If they are concerning India, if 1 or 2 news are there which may be concerning about to India's affairs, so you have to make a note of that also. If US is having any treaty with Pakistan, if US is having any treaty with China, if that is going to affect us, so you have to make a note of that. If there is any wartime exercise going on between Pakistan and China, that is of very importance to you, because you have to finalize as an assistant commandant or as defense forces or as further in your service, you'll have to have an idea about what is happening in the geopolitical realities. So that is where you can make a note of all those news. Apart from that, there are certain news based on environment, like endangered species, critically endangered species, invasive species. These are the news which can be hidden somewhere. So you have to make note of those also. So slowly and slowly, 4th week onwards, you will be able to be thorough with the 4 pages which I had said. After that, your mission is to find the news which are hidden and which are important. So this way, your bulk of hard work which you have to do at the end can be negotiated with consistent hard work, max to max 1.5 hours in the newspaper itself. It can be done with, once you get expertise, within 2 months, you will be seeing that your newspaper reading time would reduce from 2 or 3 hours to within 1 hour or 1.5 hour at max. And slowly it will go even further lower than that. If there are lesser news, you will be able to do less than 45 minutes also. So this is the way you have to formulate your habit and make a plan of it. First month, be lenient, just read the headlines and go through the important articles. Some of the important articles, not all. And then after the 3rd week, try to enhance the number of articles which you read directly from the newspaper. You can take advantage of the material which are available on the websites as well as the YouTube channels, and choose just one of them. You can, what I used to do was I used to run them at 2x and then the double speed, so that I reduce my time utilization. I utilize my time properly and reduce the time expense on the videos which I see. So if there is a 40-minute video, I can watch it within 20-25 minutes by watching it in double speed, and I can get, because I've already read the newspaper, so I know what all the articles are there and what are the facts. If I have missed anything, for that I'm seeing, so I can watch it on 2x and then grasp it. So this way you save time, as well as you ensure that you complete all the important news in the newspaper. Once you are done with it, you will see that slowly and slowly those current affairs magazine will form a side role just to for a revision. But majority of the current affairs wala hard work has to be done through newspapers. So I'll request you all not to base your current affairs ka revision on the current affairs magazine or any XYZ book. Any book can be just giving us gist of all this, all the happenings which have been there in the newspaper. Newspapers are the real source, where you get all the news in detail and in depth, where you get the idea of formulating the questions. Yes, the UPSC examiners also read the newspapers, and the questions are coming from there directly. So you are getting the direct interface to that source which your examiner is taking a use of while formulating the question. What better can it get? So try to have a habit of reading newspaper on a daily basis. And once you develop it, slowly and slowly optimize it to such a level that you can finish it within 1 hour, and have a habit of making a small dictionary and a small notebook in which you can jot down the crisp facts which are mentioned in the newspaper. Hopefully you do it well. And if you have any doubts, you can mention in the comment section, and we'll be happy to answer it. Jai Hind.